Hello again and welcome in Acronis CyberFit Summit in Abu Dhabi. Now we have Mr. Pasha. He is the Chief Revenue Officer at Acronis. Welcome, Mr. Pasha.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for being with us today.
It's great to be here. Thank you for inviting.
Mr. Pasha, can you introduce us to Acronis and tell us more about the SAPAS vision?
So Acronis is a leader in what we call cyber protection. And for some of you who listen to this program, it can be a new term or a new definition. It is indeed a new definition, a new category of software and cloud services that was invented by Acronis some time ago as a response to what we see as modern threats to information technology environments that we see for corporate customers and for individual users. So it all starts that no longer backup is enough to feel safe and protected in the internet. So a lot of threats, things like ransomware, viruses, and cyber attacks actually impact many businesses, many people every day. And it's no longer enough to have your data protected with legacy backup and disaster recovery solutions. We believe at Acronis that only convergence of data protection technologies and cybersecurity solutions can give full protection, and that full protection we call cyber protection. And that's what we believe is needed by any business, any individual, given the level of threats that we face in the net.
We spoke about cyber protection and we focused on cyber protection. So what's the main difference between cyber protection and cyber security? Because most people maybe know about cyber security, but now from Acronis we hear the term cyber protection a lot more. So what's the main difference and which is more important at this time?
Security basically is a concept that your system is secured. And that is achieved by using different technologies. For example, antivirus technologies, malware protection that protect endpoints like your Apple computer. At the same time, those technologies currently do not provide you with a good way of, for example, of restore and a good way of, for example, forensic analysis. And in many cases, in order to make sure that an attack is not repeated and doesn't have success in the future, you need to do forensic analysis. And of course, you need to start with prevention of that. So thinking about cybersecurity as only one component, it doesn't give you full protection. Only combination with data protection technologies and full cyber protection suite will give you that assurance that your data, your applications, your systems are intact. And even if the attack is successful, in this unfortunate event, you will have your data back in minutes or in hours.
So do you believe that cyber protection is mature enough in our region, in the Middle East especially? Or do we need to take more procedures to make it more efficient and more inclusive?
I think Middle East is like many other regions are still embracing the concept of cyber protection and embracing that there is value which is more than 1 + 1 not equals 2 but equals actually 3 when we combine data protection technologies and cybersecurity technologies. With that in mind, we at Acronis see a very good dynamics with information technology companies here in Middle East region, managed service providers, managed security service providers that embrace this concept and starting to provide this value to their end customers. And in Acronis, we have a mission to enable those partners to do successful, profitable business with us and eventually introduce new category of solutions, cyber protection solutions, to Middle East market.
And talking about the cloud solutions and AI, can you tell us more about the Acronis Cyber Cloud 8? What is this project exactly?
Yeah, Cyber Cloud is Acronis platform that is run and maintained by Acronis. We have our data center operations teams across the world. We run 16 data centers in different regions and different countries. So those cyber cloud services can be consumed by end customers, and at the same time, they can be provisioned and built by service provider partners, enabling a new business for them as they protect endpoints, they protect different workloads with the help of that cloud solution. The flexibility of the solution allows us to roll out innovation very fast. For example, if your computer or your server or your virtual machine is protected by Acronis Cyber backup provision from Acronis Cyber Cloud, you would have ransomware protection right away. So ransomware protection is where artificial intelligence technologies come into play. Basically, our technology analyzes all processes that are going on your machine, and in case something suspicious happens, our AI engine blocks that process, analyzes the data that process touched, and in case this is a ransomware attack and some of your data got encrypted by some bad guys, we actually have an opportunity to restore back from a backup and make it absolutely invisible for a user that the attack was happening. Your data is intact, your machine is working, and that's the beauty of a cyber cloud solution from Acronis.
Basically, now we can't just rely on the human forces or the human work, and we want a reliable machine learning and to use the AI. Is this implemented with Acronis? How much do you focus on this part?
That's an area of primary focus for us, because now the biggest challenge of cyber security and cyber protection solutions, that bad guys, they actually use AI to analyze the systems and to find vulnerabilities that they can exploit. So in order to prevent that, you need to deploy AI solutions in defense to make sure that those
that is more advanced also.
Correct. More advanced weaponry is being deployed against you. So for us, it's critical area of research. We're investing quite a lot into our R&D and AI specifically. And the solutions we will be rolling out soon with Cyber Protect product that will include malware protection, endpoint security. It will include many components from AI analysis, machine learning, that our engineers do in our data centers.
Since we are now in Yas in Abu Dhabi, and this weekend there is the Formula One week.
Yes.
Seeing Acronis is investing a lot in the sports with the sport teams and clubs in various sports. What kind of collaboration? How can the sport teams benefit from collaboration with Acronis? How is that related to that?
Right. So sports is a very fast-growing industry, and it's well recognized that the volume of moving sports into digital space is huge. If we think about Formula One, which is a racing weekend here in Abu Dhabi, it's a very sophisticated sport where a lot of data is generated every lap a car goes. It literally gigabytes and terabytes of data that every car produces, every race and every lap. That data is critical for sports teams to succeed and actually to win the race or to have a better place. So that data should be protected. That data, none of sports team can afford that the data is lost, right? And it's critical for a team to perform well. They rely on this data. So, and we see that technology is going to more to different sports, including football, where you can imagine just people playing with the ball, but it's not that simple anymore. So there is a lot of data generated during the game about players moving, players' tactics, and how they tackle, how they strike. And of course, this data should be analyzed, and top teams actually leveraging that insights that they got from that data to improve their performance. Acronis' role and Acronis' partnership value proposition to those teams is that we provide storage, we provide cyber protection solutions. We actually help those teams in racing, in football, in baseball, and in other sports. We help them to protect the data, the systems they have, and operate without any interruption.
So basically, some sports team might have the advantage and edge because they are focusing on the cloud, on the analysis of data, on the tech part of the game. And maybe some teams, they didn't consider this yet. Do you approach teams, for example, and show them your offerings, or how can this industry be more tech related?
No, absolutely. And actually, digital transformation in sports goes very fast. And it goes very fast thanks to a simple fact that, for example, in Formula One, I will provide that example again, the difference of the lap time between the top team and the last team is actually second and a half, or sometimes 2 seconds on a lap. If you imagine the speed and kind of the length of the lap, that's tiny difference between car performance. That means that even if you can increase your performance in sport just by tiny fraction of percent, you will have much higher chances of winning. Same way goes to team sports like football. If you train your team a little bit better and you use and leverage strengths of your players a little bit better, you will get much better results. That's the beauty of sports, and that's why digital transformation is so important. Yes, we do approach different sports teams with our solutions and our offerings. We currently partner with 49 sports teams, and we actually want to partner with hundreds and hundreds of those in different countries, in different sports. So that's in core strategy for Acronis, and we will continue doing that.
Mr. Pasha, can you tell us more about your latest innovations and how will they affect the industry in general?
Okay, we do frequent releases of our cloud platform, a cyber cloud platform that we provide to our partners. And recent innovation that we added there, which is already available to our service provider partners, are more sophisticated workloads that they can use to serve bigger enterprises. Acronis is historically very strong in SMB space, but also adding capabilities that can help our partners to serve larger companies, and that is very much appreciated by our partners. Another thing that we are adding now is a proper disaster recovery solution that is well integrated and works very well, and that's already available for customers. But what's more exciting is what's coming in the next release, which would be in a couple of months, and that's the release of our Cyber Protect technology that would be an add-on for our partners in Cyber Cloud that will enable endpoint protection and will complete the vision of cyber protection services they can provide to end customers and protect their environments.
Do you have a certain kind of customers, or do you provide your services to just anyone? Is there a specific, we talked about sports, but do you focus on the health sector, for example? What kind of sectors are you focusing on?
We work with all verticals and with all sectors. So we have customers from manufacturing, we have customers from automotive, we have customers from finance, governments, healthcare, retail. So basically, you name it. Any industry requires cyber protection. Of course, the level of understanding of cyber protection needs is much higher in industries like healthcare and financial services because they are exposed to more pressure from bad guys, from hackers. What we see that other industries are actually coming to the same understanding, and as they face more and more threats, they pay more attention to cyber protection software and services, and we see a good usage of our technologies regardless of any particular industry.
And I imagine with all the talks about cyber protection and the kind of services you provide your partners and clients, let's say, what kind of threats do Acronis get? like a huge firm with all these data, you have others' data as well. What kind of threats you face?
Yeah, that's a great question
Yeah.
because, of course, we as a company that protects our customers,
Yeah.
we got attacked almost every day.
Wow.
And we have, I mentioned that we have a network of data centers, and we actually deploy our solution first in our data centers. And we also have a very experienced data center operations team that monitors every second and gathers that information. We have a security operations centers in Singapore, Switzerland, and Arizona, the United States, where all those attacks and all those threats are constantly monitored by special people who are specially trained. And as well, we deploy some artificial intelligence solutions that help us to analyze what's going on and prevent those threats. Of course, Acronis, being a cyber protection company, kind of triggers higher interest from hackers because it's kind of for those bad guys, it's kind of an honor to challenge and to hack security experts like us. And so far, we're pretty well protecting our customers and partners from that, and we'll continue doing that.
And at last, I want to ask you about your vision and what are your plans for 2020 and in the region in the near future.
So in 2020, Acronis will continue growing its business quite fast. We have high expectation. We have expectation of growing 40% plus year over year on global level. Middle East for us is one of the growth regions that we have. We believe that Middle East partners can grow business much faster than average 40%, and our plans are quite ambitious for this particular region. We plan to continue investment into that, into our business development here, into our partners. We need to get more service providers. We need to enable them with our technologies. We need to train them. Yesterday was a great event here in Abu Dhabi. We had more than 150 partners in the room going through cyber protection trainings. And that's a contribution we're making to make Middle East even safer place.
With all this focus on making the Middle East a safer place, is there a parallel force or threats that accompany this expansion in cyber protection? Like, okay, we are now being more advanced in cyber protection, but are there more threats or are there less?
Threats are, of course, continue to grow. And that's driven by two factors. The first factor is that cost of attack is getting down because, as we discussed already today, bad guys, they actually leverage artificial intelligence, they leverage hyperscaler clouds to automate attacks. That drives cost of attack to a tiny number, and it has a very unpleasant consequence that if in the past maybe only big businesses got attacked by hackers because an attack was an expensive venture. Now it's very cheap, so small and medium businesses, individuals will get more and more pressure and more threats. And second, unfortunate thing again that cybercrime is kind of industrialized. It's a very threatening type of crime nowadays, and of course governments and businesses need to be united in preventing those threats, in fighting those threats, in providing solutions to citizens and businesses to mitigate the risks that are raised because of that. And Middle East markets are no exception here. In Q1 2019, amount of attacks grew actually by 12%, and this unfortunately will continue to grow. So it's our mission in Acronis and working with our partners to provide better cyber protection to our customers in this, I would say, unsafe digital world.
Mr. Pasha, thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.